All right, so Thresh, Aurelion Sol, and the Graves taken out on the side of Counter Logic Gaming. See how they continue.
All right, so targeting the playmaking from Aphromoo is definitely a good strategy from Echo Fox as well. Another thing with this patch is the Stoneborn Pact. New mastery does give a little bit more weight to melee champions as far as, other options for playmaking supports besides the Thresh that they've already banned out. Aphromoo could, use those as options. They're not incredibly overpowering with a new mastery or anything, but they are a bit more viable. So we may see them go that way. Other than that, I really do like these target bans from Echo Fox. Huhi, right off the bat, everyone knows Aurelion Sol, and then the Ezreal for Stixxay as well.
You make it easy. Huhi has such an easy early game when he gets that Aurelion Sol. Star clear, back, grab an item, star clear, back, grab an item. It makes it just so he can continuously clear until Xmithie can come around. Malzahar taken off of the board along with that Camille as we would expect so. And Akaadian is going to lock in the Rengar.
All right. Talking about setting up Akaadian for some early success. Gets his hands on the Rengar. Still very much alive, by the way, after the nerfs. Yeah. Does get a little bit lower. Lowered the armor. Also lowered the amount of healing that you can do off of the jungle camps. But still very much alive and well.
All the time in the world. They're going to use every second. The Lulu, it's going to be Lulu Rengar that you're looking at for these 1 or 2. That's like the trade-off we see now. You're either going to protect somebody with Lulu or try to kill him with Rengar.
Yep, Lulu was already super high priority for the majority of the teams. And as you said, when the opposing team locks in an assassin like Rengar, it is definitely a little bit added there. But especially with the Ezreal banned out, CLG may be going towards that protect the Stixxay stuff that we talked about, and the sort of MSI teamfight style that they had there. Caitlyn is literally the champion where they made one of their biggest comebacks with. So this is a very potent combo. We've already seen multiple times today through European LCS and North American LCS.
Seen some crazy late game Warlords Caitlyn just half healing as they hit off some shots.
If you get the proc for your Warlords charged up at the same time you charge up your headshot, it's pretty fast.
It's insane. All right, locking in now. 7 seconds here on the side of Echo Fox.
Yeah, we'll wait on what they're going to go with. Some extra CC here. Do like still bringing CC from the bottom lane. Actually, I don't even know why we were even hesitating, as Keith has been on Ashe duty for quite a while, and they've actually kind of just relegated him over and over to playing Ashe. So, the benefits of that are that if you're playing the same champion over and over on stage, then you're very accustomed to using that one not only in the team fights, but looking for the arrow shots. I do have to mention, though, that Caitlyn Lulu, in addition to scaling super well, and, the obviously very strong for carrying team fights later in the game when you get to add that extra attack speed and defenses to the Caitlyn, and she's already built up her items. It's also a very strong lane starting out, too, right at the very beginning.
Get those help picks autos, a little bit more damage, control quite a bit of the lane. And Zyra as well is going to try to knock that down, so good pickup here for Gabe.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting to see how these duos do go as far as the battle. And we've had all of the lanes matched here as far as the first set of the picks and bans, by the way. Jungles and bottoms have been locked in. So now we start to whittle down on the solo lane picks, and that's Anivia that we kind of mentioned before. Maybe opening up a Vladimir pick if you're banning out the Anivia here. That's definitely out there, as Vladimir has been rising priority. Really do love the Proto Belt builds here, where it's absolutely insane how he can just murder the backline and then have a couple of invulnerabilities after you have your Zhonya's and your pool to rely on.
What is the next ban from Chronologic Gaming? The Anivia, obviously you respect to Froggen. He will not take flight this game. Just look at one more for the top. That's going to be that Rumble ban.
Rumble is, to me and to a lot of the top laners actually, they talked about, it's one of your most confident blind pick matchups basically, into pretty much good into so many different kinds. And when you do have a lot of crowd control locked in elsewhere, I think it adds value to this pick. Zyra and Ashe as a bottom lane brings so much utility from the other side of the map. That there's a lot of stuff there to try and hold people onto the equalizers, or at least zone people into a part of the map where it makes it easy to land a good equalizer. Zyra has really good zone control, especially in the jungle, can cut off corridors and at least force people to funneling down somewhere.
It's one of those old taster choice combos. I almost can't like, look at that combo with that, thinking of Cloud9, right? Because they played it so much. You've seen it played at such a high level, so we'll see what Keith and Gate can do with it here.
Yeah. As far as the actual things that are, oh, there we go. Just as predicted, Vladimir does come in. But I was going to touch on the differences here. Even in the first phase, we can already see the teams going for different goals with their team compositions here. Echo Fox are a lot more pick-oriented. You know, the Rengar and the Ashe can really combine for a lot of, and even after you lock in the Shen, that just accentuates that strength of the cross-map play here for Echo Fox. And they will be looking for more of those picks and trying to use the globals to grab people, whereas CLG, very obviously, even in their first 2 pickups there, you can see they're going for that team fighting. Straight up 5-on-5, they will be massive if they can get you know, some fuel into the Caitlyn Lulu monster combo. And if you're just dumping Vladimir on top of that, let's just team fight extraordinaire comp here for us.
Really good. We did see, however, if the Vladimir is picked on early game, just last game, what happens, how far he's set back, and how hard it is to get back into the game. But that was some level 2 shenanigans. We'll see if Huhi can dodge that out. Also with Viktor in the mid lane, not too much crowd control to get that kill secured. So we have the teams locked in now. It will be that Vlad mid, Xmithie on Olaf in the jungle, and tanks to duo it out in the top lane, Shen versus a Nautilus.
Yeah, I mean, this is shaping up with some pretty clear paths here. Echo Fox are really going to hope to get out to an early start, and you know, hopefully for them, Akaadian will be the one to start creating action early on, because that's what they want to use to chain into opportunities to pick people off with Ashe arrows and use Stand United with the Rengar, so that it's a really threatening Rengar when he does come in, having the dive buddy on his back. Because if they don't, this CLG comp will be incredibly hard to deal with as far as the team fighting does go. Yeah,
we talked about Akaadian doing well early game. Even with 1 kill in that early game, only a few wins trickled in. So it was really when he had 2 or more, able to control it that much when Echo Fox could really explode out of the gate. So we will have to see that pressure. He is on the Rengar, so he's not being held back.
Definitely true. All right, well, we're going to have to see how the early game does go when we get onto the Rift. The other thing is that, you know, with the Vladimir, one of the other options into it was the Cassiopeia, which you get a little bit worried on, because Huhi's actually been, you know, solo killed pretty early on by the Cassiopeia multiple times. But Froggen went for this Viktor, and I think that's actually pretty good for CLG. It just seems a little bit less threatening, has less of that, you know, early all-in kill pressure where you're going to chase someone down for something like that. But see if they can make it happen.
Hashtag Fox win, hashtag CLG win. We're on the Rift for game 2 of the day here in week 8. Hard to believe we're this far in. Teams don't have much more to do in terms of getting wins under their belt. So, as they say, everyone counts.
Everyone really does count. If you're talking about the standings there, I mean, CLG currently are definitely higher. They're up there tied around for 4th. So, you know, right there with FlyQuest actually at 7-7. Whereas Echo Fox is just on the edge. They really want to break in to that playoff spot. And in that 5 wins, still going to try and push right up into there. We'll see if they can make it happen, though, because they have to start now. You know, we are running out of time.
Yeah. CLG knows this spot, though. They hit 500 at least once every season, staying in the middle. And then they kind of explode at the end to make sure the surge for the finals or the test, as it would be when you were in school, you can still ace that one. So just a minute in, obviously a little tango over the tanks in the top lane. Nothing going to come of that. Darkseal will start here for Huhi with some potions. And obviously Froggen with his potions and his staff.
Yeah, it gets the triple health potion there along with the Darkseal. Quite a lot of healing considering the boost that the passive of that ring does give you. And obviously starting Doran's rings on Vladimir, you lose that on the mana part. So this is a very high healing part. As far as the Raptors, though, nobody goes for those super common invades that we've seen. However, both teams do have wards on the Raptors, so they're very well aware of the starting positions of their opponents.
Ooh,
actually, quite good trades there for the Echo Fox bottom lane.
Yep. Nicely done, making sure they get the Thunderlord's proc off, wait for that to happen again, and get in, try to get a 2.
Yeah, really like Ashe for gaining control of the minion waves early on. And this is one of the matchups that people talked about quite a lot, you know, back a couple patches ago, and Ashe was extremely popular. see if he can get it done here. Gate's also doing quite a good job, you can see, with the Zyra, snagging the range minions as well as going for harassment at the same time. Aphromoo got that bush control, though.
all of it, yeah. Forward ward for Gate here, so he couldn't see anything coming in. They're playing it back and forth, but right as they use those potions, Aphromoo back in. They knew they had the minion wave. Actually playing it very nicely from just both Stixxay and Aphromoo having half HP. Darshan warding in, making sure they can get an eye on Akaadian for a pass around the top side, and he's out. Good
the
play by
benefits
CLG.
of Nautilus early pushing. He's really the best at like the early laning tanks. And we'll see if Looper just basically wants to get to that level 6 so he can try and get those cross-map plays going for the squad. While you do mention that as well, if the Nautilus is super far up like that and Akaadian's able to find a way around the vision that Darshan places, there is a threat of taunt setting up a gank for Rengar because he brings a lot of damage. However, Akaadian will 99% show himself on that ward when he goes for the blue buff, unless for some reason he goes for some crazy route. Yep, showing himself there.
Easy call out. Riptide, Darshan looking to get the wave pushed. It could be a movement here for Darshan as a way if that ward times out. It looks like he'll have a second one before that comes.
And you can see what Looper's doing as well. Wants to keep this wave close since his jungler is around. Akaadian will have seen that ward expire though, so he knows that Darshan is one step ahead, and they could be prepping a counter gank. You always have to be super careful about those counter ganks, especially when you're going to gank a lane that's been pushing and will have not only a small experience advantage, but a bunch of minion damage advantage if it does break out into a 2v2. Plus, Olaf is always so scary if you run into him and he's ready for counter ganking you, because especially early on, you can just annihilate most champions.
Both junglers on a warding adventure as they find just about nothing. Akaadian gets the timing of the Raptors. Xmithie finally gets that as they only had to wait a small bit of time.
And remember, this stems from those early wards that both teams had. So they actually both had the exact timers of the small camps, and both of them are able to go for the trade of invades, basically, and stay pretty much even.
So what is the possibility as well if one of the junglers breaking this ability to stay even and saying, I want to put aggression here? Is it too risky? Would you get too far behind if it does not work to follow Raptor for Raptor, stay on either side of the jungle?
So one of the oldest debates of, the risks of going for ganks as far as farming does heavily revolve around the vision games. And you can see that's what is the cause of most of the moves. Now, Akaadian will take a decent amount of damage as Looper's pushed into his turret, but I think he was going to back and he's dead! He did not expect that either, because he didn't get off, the battle roar heal or use his flash. So, whoa, Darshan gets first blood.
You're basically not even ready to make that call as a play-by-play either because he has flash.
Here's the thing. Akaadian saw the plants that the Scryer's Bloom that saw him out. He gets hooked in here. He had the empowered roar. So if you empowered roar and then flash, you could get to the other side of the Shen there. Okay, regardless, mistakes were made in that scenario. And now the first blood has been handed over to this Nautilus, which Echo Fox were actually ahead in gold before that occurred slightly due to the CS. Apparently, as nowadays, well, actually it was pretty much even as the 300 is about the only thing making the difference. Now Xmithie, though, is under attack. Should be able to get away.
Back. Whoa, Huhi coming in. Shen as well. Xmithie calls for Huhi. Will they be able to get it? One last kill. It's going to be a trade. Akaadian goes back down. Xmithie goes down, but that's a kill for Huhi as well.
Okay, this top lane, though, is going to get out of control as Darshan was kind of fed this first blood, and now he gets to shove the minion wave into the turret. So Looper, while he was able to almost save the jungler and ensure that they do get this kill here, he does lose out on a lot of minions for it. As well as Huhi here was, trying to help out, but he can't commit to that. He's so low and was looking for a recall. So interesting little trades here early on. In the end, the gold is very close to even. That being said, maybe the discrepancy up in top will make a difference. The teleport for Looper was used to get back to his lane, as you can see, so that's on cooldown. And this is one of the rare situations where the team that does not have Shen actually has the priority in the top lane where Nautilus can shove and has teleport advantage.
It may just be drawing Akaadian up here if Darshan can just keep the lane at this kind of 75% mark. Probably won't go down either as he slips out of each gank. Xmithie going through his jungle, 39 to 30 there, as he'll pretty much even that up with the Raptor cleanup. And we see a few stacks on that Dark Seal for Huhi due to that last engage in mid. So things actually kind of getting delivered to him there without much work. He was very low, expecting to hide under his turret, and there's a kill for you. So things falling into the hands of CLG, like you said, to kind of even up what's going on.
Good job there by Froggen. His old game sense kicking in as they called out the roam.
Too quiet.
Exactly. Shen is going to get pushed up there as we said, NALCS has control of the wave. But Looper's like, okay, this guy could be anywhere invading the jungle. He could be ganking mid. You know, beware of these Nautilus ganks mid that have caught a lot of mid laners off guard. And Froggen carefully and rightfully hugs his bottom side where he knows he has his pink ward and he has so much more security down there. So that's just a little bit of good team communication from Echo Fox.
See his AD carries back, support's becoming an enabler now for Akaadian and Xmithie, following them around. And it doesn't look like these wards will actually have too much control over being guarded by Fox, so their work goes to the wayside and CLG regains control of the river.
There it is again. Froggen going now to place an advanced ward, so he'll see if Darshan is actually going for an invade at the time, or if Darshan is going for one of those passes on mid lane. And now they've been able to wait out the cooldown there of the Stand United. Almost, just about to come back up. So if Xmithie can force something here early, then they might be able to get it before the cooldown. But Looper is almost ready here to react.
Wow. Just these wards they placed in river, those controls. Let's all enter. Yeah, pings came down. They saw Akaadian. Akaadian saw Xmithie. We'll see how many more people commit to this, because it looks like Fox may try to get the kill on Xmithie. Going in with red buff's going to keep him in range. Ragnarok, not yet, just a ghost. He's going to try to keep that ulti for the real stop, and he gets himself to safety, but he just feeds himself into Froggen's laser.
Each of the mid laners has been like, okay, I'll take that. Yep, you come here. Good job, junglers.
Really aggressive by Chronologic Gaming.
Very aggressive. You could see that we were just applauding the jungler and support combos for being safe and going together when they were. Actually, bottom lane here, getting snared up.
Ooh. Got the headshot off of the trap, turned around. Keith with the arrow onto Aphromoo. The Ignite's not going to take anybody down. Stand United onto Froggen as that comes up in the past few minutes. And they make a play off it once again.
Yeah, Looper erring on the side of caution there, as did not want Froggen to get burst down if Darshan decided to go for that dive. So coming in with the Stand United right off the bat, not taking any risks, as he didn't have to use it when they hunted down Xmithie on his kind of solo adventure down there. Now Huhi's in the same spot, but he's on a ward. He has heal, but
you have to be careful. The exhaust is still up, flashes as well. The heal goes down. Chemo Plague definitely going to take down Gate there as Huhi just goes in for a quick hit, and he is out.
All right, well, CLG pick up some more gold on the back. Regardless, Echo Fox are still a bit ahead.
Yeah.
Let's take another look at the replay, I guess. This is what just occurred.
You just stay at the turret.
He's on the ward, and
wave's pushing out.
They actually go to pick the fight, which is, well, you know the rest, as it ended up in Gate's death there, and also burned the heal.
That was really aggressive, knowing that Keith and Gate still had their sums up, but CLG, one aggressive play after the other, and they seemed to pick a few up.
Yeah, so the thinking there, I was trying to dive into the player perspective and figure out what was going on. For Keith and Gate, they don't want the wave to get pushed up under their turret and get dove and give over both kills maybe, so it seemed like they're trying to make CLG start the dive earlier than CLG wanted, and in that scenario, they actually did end up only having to fight the Vladimir, just that they were so low. Just the Vladimir is enough to get one of the kills.
And then just pull himself out. Infernal Drake standing tall here for both teams. 3-3.
All right.
Hunt is on for Xmithie. Ragnarok as well. He's going to try to fight this one back immediately. Look for the wild growth, actually. Aphromoo might have called him back, but he's level 5, so that's not what happened. He just goes down with the team trying to get more kills.
In enemy territory here.
Should be all right. Just gonna say hello and cross paths.
Oh, no.
He forgot. He forgot. Doing his thing. Blitzcrank top lane. It happens, right?
All right. There's nice splatter of blood right there, as well as not only do we see the Nautilus fail flash hook into the wall, but followed up pretty quickly by Vladimir getting taken down as well, and a bunch more kills go over to Echo Fox. Look at this gold lead, Riv. This is very nice for the Echo Fox squad that we said with this team. They're going to want to try and get this early lead rolling, and then, you know, as soon as they start taking down these towers, really take advantage of their extra globals and their pick composition. Snare here from Gate forces the ultimate from Xmithie. When you pop your Ragnarok while you get out of crowd control, you actually take more damage as it, you know, takes off your resistances a little bit, and Akaadian does get the execute. Darshan here doesn't follow Aphromoo, which was what I thought was going to happen when they, you know, talk about him being in enemy territory. He goes around this side, and then this whole thing occurred over by the blue buff.
The thing that was better for me was I was actually watching the left side, so it looked like he just hooked blue wall. I'm like, you can't do that as Nautilus.
Snuck a sneaky little flash in there right before he hooked the wall.
I was focusing the left fight for a possible kill, but still teleport to come up now for all of the top laners. Plays may slow down here for a moment as they go ahead and scratch each other's back. Xmithie looking to get some wards in here, and Fox feels like they have a bit of control over mid lane, pushing up, getting the wards in, and Froggen feeling good at 3-0-1.
Yeah, Froggen's feeling very good here on the Viktor, being able to upgrade very early. You know, plus this is also an Infernal Drake. And with the Echo Fox bottom lane taking down that turret, there's a lot of pressure that Echo Fox can apply on this bottom side. Stand United is available. You know, Looper can easily join, even though the wave is pushed up. They'd happily sacrifice a wave if CLG get too close to this Drake. Not gonna happen though. They'll just take it without any sort of bloodshed.
Good to see if it still isn't coming from the jungle, the aggression that is in the early game, that Fox can still get another variable. Get Froggen fed, get a little...
Whoa, Huhi's in there!
Playing, but if you get Froggen fed, that might be the shutdown for the team, and everybody's gonna pocket a little gold off of that.
Rengar ultimate used, Stand United also used, CLG. Now, the only problem, well, Akaadian's actually going in by himself. That's...
Oh, polymorph.
Risky.
This should be a save from Gate, both down to half HP.
I was going to say, the problem for CLG is, while they did get this kill, the Drake was just taken, so they can't transfer into a Drake. They can try and get damage on this turret, and with Akaadian actually getting chunked out there, there's less defense for Echo Fox.
Yeah.
See if they can actually stick around, though.
Not a whole lot of wave clear sitting at the turret right now. All right, that could be another lockup. Grasping Brew, Strangle Thorn, Aphromoo with the shield on, and actually doesn't even have Wild Growth and doesn't need to use it.
A lot of damage is not here for Echo Fox. They have the crowd control in place to lock down Aphromoo a bunch, but you know, without anybody actually add the damage to that pickup, they don't get it. However, their mid turret is still standing.
Low as it is. About 900 HP on that mid turret. Top is pretty low as well, so CLG looking at quite a bit of gold to scoop up if they can go from lane to lane. Darshan looks like he's even going to take that one out himself. He's had so much free time with Looper trying to transfer down, help mid lane pressure as well, or engage for mid lane pressure, that it's just made Darshan very happy lane, you could say. 5-4
yeah,
on 16 minutes.
This whole game has been full of happy little mistakes, happy little trees as well here throughout the jungle. Akaadian taking away some happy little raptors. See what Echo Fox actually do move with, because this is where we want them to keep up the tempo. They're the ones that got the Infernal. They're the ones, you know, they got the early turret. They've got all these kills. They've got this gold lead. And the vision is actually starting to move up for them as well. So next step is to keep up this pressure. You know, they're whittling away at the rest of the outer turrets. You can see mid is almost down. Yep. And Stand United, they're probably just waiting for the Stand United cooldown to come up, so they have that extra insurance policy, and then they can just pull the trigger again. Keith has had a lot of practice with the Ashe, so a lot of fog of war actually for him to shoot the arrows from to give him a better chance of landing them.
I think he's 100% on arrows so far. So let's keep that up.
Hit it bottom lane, yep.
Yep. Hit one bottom, hit one mid right there.
Mid.
So looking for more. Eagle Eye Keith coming in here, 17 minutes. They weren't able to lock the kill down. Like we said, it's been too scattered for Fox. They do go for that engage, but no follow-up. The wards have been cleared out from the CLG side of the jungle, so anything that's going to happen here may just be in mid lane.
Yeah, and you can see Keith there trying to hover on the corner. Make sure there's no wards though. We saw in the last match, Piglet was hiding on that exact spot, and that exact ward that Aphromoo just put was down, and they were able to jump on him. Right now, CLG should be able to get the turret as no rotation here from Echo Fox. They're continuing to push the side lanes, and they could look for a pick as CLG disperse afterwards, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Maybe they do one on the bottom side. There's a lot of vision for CLG actually around this mid area though, so they might feel okay. Darshan's teleport takes a long time to channel, a lot longer than Stand United does take to complete, so you have that have a little extra window to try and work with before the tank arrives.
This has to feel good for CLG. Vision wards up on both sides. You can see finally Keith and Gate getting a chance to breathe and move around in that mid lane. But CLG Gaming is setting up these moments where they have 30, 40 seconds of a chance to just grab onto Fox. It's good on them for preventing the situation from happening.
Yeah, we'll see which team is able to prepare better for Infernal Drake number 2. Because Echo Fox should be able to, take this turret and a couple autos and answer that gold and have a pretty nice gold lead to sit on. However, remember the strengths of the CLG composition rely so heavily in their 5-on-5, set up battles. If they can actually do the prep work and find themselves with a decent amount of vision, we might see them start to look for more of those 5-on-5 situations. That being said, they might actually just wait for Stixxay to finish a Hurricane before they go for that, because that's when you really get the DPS rolling through from that Lulu Caitlyn combo.
Just saw Darshan taking quite a bit of damage in the top lane from Looper. Puts a ward for himself so that doesn't turn into a gank and death. He's been sitting pretty up there for most of the game. Pretty much not bothered at all. Still got 45 seconds on this. It looks like Akaadian's going to try to get himself in, find wards, and place them down to give Fox more of an upper hand.
Oh yeah, they've got sweepers all over the place. Scryer's Bloom, very good control setting up here for Echo Fox. So just because of the prep work, you can say they'll at least have a very big advantage if CLG decide to force it. And if you take those multiple things into account, actually Arrow might be an option in the mid lane.
Whoa, Shield Star. They said we can kill Keith, and they were right. Keith goes down to the Hemoplague follow-up damage.
Stand United.
He blew everything for that. CLG says, let's go. They lost the 80 carry damage. There's going to be ults drawn out. That was 2 from Xmithie. He gets Chaos Storm and Stranglethorn, and they're going to be saying, we can take Dragon now.
Yeah. Man, there have been a decent amount of bloopers in this one. The Stand United shield would have been helpful for Keith to have there as he dies on the expiration of the Hemoplague, but they're going to maybe contest this 4v5. CLG go for the fight, actually.
Backline taunt from Looper. He locks him up. Wild Growth onto Stixxay. Akaadian's trying to find the kills, but he cannot get close enough to the squishies, and CLG locks down onto Fox. Looper still running strong. The rest of the team kind of peeled off of this fight as CLG will clean up what they can. Dragon did go to CLG Gaming.
Yeah, Looper here does get kited out to red buff Caitlyn, so you feel bad for the Shen. It might take a while, but eventually,
hey,
Ninja down.
Sneaky Ninja.
That is such a weird series of events have occurred here as first of all, there's a member down here for Echo Fox, and you're charging into the Lulu, Caitlyn, Vladimir comp, and even though a decent amount was used to kill Keith, they still have very strong advantages here in the 5-on-5, and CLG not only get the Drake, but then they just pick apart the Echo Fox members on the backside. Looper was able to kill Aphromoo though, so Echo Fox did get some gold out of it. Definitely would say not worth it though, and it felt like one of those panic, we're starting to lose, the lead that we had early game, and we can see the team fight building for CLG here. That might be the influx of gold that they really needed, and evening up those Infernal Drakes was very good for them as well. I do think Echo Fox should definitely return to the pick style and try and get their advantages this way.
You can see how much protect the AD carry CLG is playing there. Aphromoo was pretty much sitting on Stixxay's shoulders for the engagement of that fight, the reason they were caught in the double taunt, but still safe in the end. The CLG positioned correctly. That's what we were kind of talking about, is who's going to have that better preparation. The CLG wants that 5v5. They got it. Well, they got a 4v5, I should say, so even more in their favor. What is he going to do? They're playing here. What are you going to do?
For that brush!
They bait him in. He gets hit by the flight on the arrow. It almost went around him. They shut down Stixxay finally for a 3-kill shutdown around the team.
Oh, can they save Froggen here?
Oh, nice hook in. The dredge line goes out. The last auto attack is Darshan. Anchors down Froggen. It looks like top lane's going to get lost here. CLG goes a turret for a person. It's still going to pay off here for Echo Fox.
Yeah, picks on opposite sides. Both teams get the kill, but Echo Fox got it first, and they're able to push up here, get the minions into the turret, take down that outer turret. Definitely still touch and go here. See if they actually go for the escape. Should be fine. Everybody wants to go spend their money at the moment. Patience paid off for Akaadian in the top lane there, waiting around, just waiting for Stixxay to get just close enough to the brush for his leap.
It's like the do it. I dare you. Dude, okay.
Come here. Come here.
So then you're just really disappointed in yourself because you flubbed it. Akaadian, however, did not. Finally gets himself on the board. A little help with the team rather than assists. So he starts to get Black Fever finished up with a few more items. Righteous Glory onto Xmithie. Basically an all-tell to say we're going forward when we get the chance. His Ghost will be following right behind that. Warding going out here so they can get the right fight as the split push begins.
Stixxay effortlessly taking down the Brambleback, which has been a problem for some. Proper kiting there all the way up. Doesn't let the patience expire either.
Too soon.
Yeah, anyway. I was just considering doing it for a while. I was like, you know what, whatever. It's an easy win, but we'll throw it out. Honestly, though, the grouping here from CLG is no surprise. They do have strength in numbers, and they use that to force down that outer turret and actually answer a little bit of the map control. Meanwhile, Echo Fox don't want to fight them head on, remember, and are looking for more openings. Trying to clear out the vision is their #1 priority at the moment. You can see even Keith has actually got a sweeper on the AD carry, just re-emphasizing how important clearing out the vision for the picks are.
Looking again. The upgrade, too. I was going to say it's not the upgrade, because usually you'll keep one. You can get a little distance
this
on,
is not
on
the cheap
singles.
sweeper.
But
no.
the cheap sweeper's good if you feel like you're behind, because you stay out of the danger zone. You can put it in front of you.
Yeah.
Some people enjoy that. I say that's why you get Scrying Orb on AD carry, so you can stay far away. So they are definitely warding and clearing wards as a team. Control wards coming out in every inventory. Stixxay saying Quicksilver Sash would be a good buy about now. I just got hit by another arrow, as Keith has been on point. And most summoners up around the map. I don't see one down. Gates Flash, at least, is down, but he'll have it up before our next fight.
All right, let's see if any of this fog of war Echo Fox have worked so hard to create for themselves will allow them to land one of those arrows and actually get a pick, because as you said, with the Quicksilver Sash now, maybe Aphromoo is a more juicy target for them, and if you can take out the Lulu, then you don't have to deal with so much of the scaling here. But CLG, meanwhile, have done some scrying work of their own.
They get to see them at least 10 to 15 seconds before they can even approach the Baron with
here it comes
all the way up. A Baron marked as easy peasy for CLG, but is the fight the same? A lot of damage starting here from Echo Fox on the front end burst. Huhi's in. Can he get an attack? Goes for the Zonius to try and distract. Xmithie's going to be next. Two people can't even make it into the team before Froggen shuts them down. A third one going over to Keith as they have CLG in their eyes. Baron for what? As a Quicksilver Sash coming out of Stixxay. The dredge line forward, but he cannot get out of range as Akaadian hops forward. Kobe, you said it better than I could. Ace on CLG.
Oh my goodness! Echo Fox get a clean ace, dropping no members there. CLG, that was such a disjointed, turn afterwards. Darshan pulls out of the fight as Huhi goes into it, so they half commit, half cancel, and this is the type of stuff that you see when, the communication within the team isn't super crisp, right? They're not deciding completely whether they're fighting this or not. You can see the tanks run out.
Yeah.
Literally, the front line is out of there when Huhi's diving the back line, and then they're like, oh, he dived, I guess we're back in.
Yep.
Then Aphromoo's down, like we said, so he can't provide the shielding for Stixxay. Darshan then flashes this bola. Stixxay has to take it, has to use the Quicksilver Sash, then he flashes, and it is everybody going down for CLG. Quite the disaster there, as Echo Fox picks up a giant bag of gold and also a Mountain Drake on the back.
That starts to get crazy for Fox here. The 5v5 fight CLG wants is now grouping into that Zyra, into Froggen, who is now 6-2-2. having pretty much completed items as he goes back to base. Now a Void Staff on the Lich Bane and Abyssal Scepter coming out next. And they are going to be a ferocious 5v fight team themselves quite soon here, at least to deny CLG theirs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Baron buffs on anybody, so we don't have any lasting effects of that Baron except for the gold that they were able to pocket. We'll see if any picks do come through. CLG, again, they want to stabilize here. Definitely want to reset after that one, whereas Echo Fox want to push this tempo. Look for more of the Keith arrows to start fights off.
Nice job of scooting themselves in. Echo Fox, that is. Control wards just behind now on the red side. We actually see one replaced as it disappears. Froggen saying, no, we're going to harass them at every point we can. And it looks like he's going to take that split push priority to himself and start cleaning the lanes as it gets closer to the base. Looper on the top side. He was hitting Darshan up pretty good, but Darshan will pretty much now be able to stand toe-to-toe and hang out. So until these guys teleport or the fight comes to this lane, I think we're going to be hanging out in the minion wave.
All right.
What are we seeing for another engage here? Does CLG want to ward forward and hit, or do they have to wait?
Yeah, I mean, CLG has a ton of forward wards at the moment, so Echo Fox are actually just going straight up the lane and trying to get some area to work with this way. However, it looks like everybody's headed over to Looper's lane on the bottom side to continue this push. And they cancel their ideas, have to deal with the Huhi split push, it looks like.
The speediest taker of turrets. He knows it, he backs off. They don't have too much more vision down the mid lane. You'll actually see him coming across. Both teams have good forward wards, which will slow things down at this point. Probably until we see that next Infernal Drake. It is all about waiting now. They have to be very careful for Froggen. CLG can't really, well, they can resort to another Baron, but they had, like I said, 10 to 15 seconds to assess how Fox was coming in and still did not take the victory in that fight. So they may become a little more hesitant in their actions.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, elect someone to be the sacrificial lamb there and be like, all right, you, last as long as you can, hold the door, let us out. Everyone else, run for your lives, but somebody's going to go, you know, sacrifice their life. And at the point where half the people are in, half the people are out, that's the worst case scenario because, you know, everybody goes down for them. It was perfect for Echo Fox there, and they're happy to have this gold to work with. We'll see how difficult it is for Echo Fox to leverage this gold. They do, as we said, still arrows into Rengar jumps, and you know, Stand United could very well be another chase down for them. And if they're able to get, you know, another couple kills that way, there's a lot less base left for CLG after the last time.
We've also seen Huhi, Aphromoo, or a few of them try to kind of get that flash engage. Stixxay ult into Huhi, maybe blowing somebody up, which denies him those summoners for a next fight. Doesn't seem to have hurt him too bad yet, as Looper finds a bit of focus in the bot lane. Righteous Glory goes off, so Xmithie can catch up nice and quick. The Ghost is on as well for Looper now. As we said, they're either going to fight or go to that teleport lane for the fight.
And the problems for teams that want to, you know, keep up multiple lanes of pressure is that if one of the lanes collapses or one of the lanes loses their pressure, then the one that's still split pushing and, you know, extending like that becomes very easy for the enemies to target. Even with CLG having not the most mobile of compositions and having the ones that are actually the, you know, more 5-on-5 oriented, the Echo Fox 4-man squad was basically sitting here just clearing minion waves, whereas Looper was pushing there on the bottom side. If you only have pressure in one arm, pretty easy for CLG to go cut that off, and they get back a lot of the gold.
With the amount of vision you see in mid by Chronologic Gaming, it looks like it's only going to get pressed forward quite soon here. We see him take down bottom turret. Now they can go around the outer ring, which will happen quite quickly when you have a Lulu to speed everybody up, as well as Xmithie leading the charge with a Righteous Glory. It'll be hard for Fox. They got to keep their wards up. They have the sweepers for it. Froggen switched over to that scrying over to make sure they can keep safe vision out. And keep the farm mid. You can see he's actually saying, do they know there's a ward on me? I don't want to get jumped on from over the Raptor Pit or any sort of engage. So he's playing safe himself a lot more than usual this game if he doesn't have gate. Looks like CLG says we can get that fight again up towards this Baron pit. We're going to ward for it, and we're going to tempt you into it.
Yeah, Baron coming up, looking for some more ways to force their 5-on-5s. Especially if EchoFox would have to funnel through the jungle here. Yeah. Vladimir. You saw what Vladimir could do to Keith. If Froggen is standing near Keith, then it makes it very easy for Huhi to get back there and get a lot of value out of his first initial dive when he goes in with Proto Belt, and then he relies on the pool into Zhonya's. Because the backline for EchoFox, neither of them have good escapes for themselves. And even if Gate is able to get down that Zyra counter engage, it can be Zhonya's or pooled by Huhi, and then, you know, the cavalry will come in afterwards. Here goes the arrow, though.
Darshan locked up. Gravity Field to hold him for a little bit longer. We'll see how much he can tank. Stranglethorn and the redemption. He finally gets out. Anchor toss over to safety. He'll have that cooldown. I don't know if he's going to enter the fight back in. Xmithie says he wants it, but they don't like the positioning of the fight with no vision in the jungle, so they back off to the middle. I think this separates the team too much, as Fox may get Huhi here in the beginning. Started off with a kill from Keith, and things slowed down. They don't want the initiation. Now they do. Darshan teleports in. It looks like they can't follow Darshan out because of the trap placement from Stixxay. A bit messy from CLG, and Fox do find the kill.
Yeah, definitely a couple interesting layers in that team fight, but the aftermath here is actually teleport being used by the Baron, and EchoFox are rushing the objective at the moment. CLG still in place to contest.
Ghost is down, so it's not going to be Xmithie flying through here. He's going to have to go for a long walk in. Pressure onto Darshan first. He's back up to full health here. He is going to go down. Fox can just stay on the backside and make this their fight. Forward by Akaadian. Draws attention from Stixxay. Once again, the rest of the team looking to crowd control, but cannot get the distance. And it looks like Fox right back to the Baron. They are just yo-yoing Counter Logic Gaming's aggression nicely.
This is actually nutty, right, what's going on here. Let's see, if EchoFox are going to be able to get it with the smite. They were able to get another kill out of CLG, kind of milking the situation, but now Froggen getting low.
Don't like it. Go. Stand still. Whew. Everybody wants to move. Just stand still.
All right, he's on a ward, so he's going to stop Akaadian. He stops him. The Infernal Drake should be traded over here. Consolation prize to CLG due to stopping those backs and Xmithie being up, but here comes the members of EchoFox. We're not done yet, Riv. Keeps on rolling. His Gate is over here.
Is still up. Gate can throw it over the wall. Looks like he's going to try to get himself into position for a full team fight. If they can grab it. Ragnarok just hits Xmithie in the rear, but it looks like he will get the safety. Huhi's the next focus. Quite a bit of HP. Has to use a bit to pull out. He should be safe. Pick up on blue. Denies Fox grabbing that, so Stixxay will walk away with it. But they are being pushed around right now as they try to squeeze out a few objectives. And Fox come away with no deaths on the Baron as CLG got aced on theirs.
Now they've got a minion wave pushing up the mid lane. So during this replay, EchoFox actually have a couple options. We'll go over those when we get back to live though, because this is a replay of look how low the Baron was too. We can't actually see it on screen, but yeah, there we go. It was just below 3,000. They get their kill on the Darshan first though. The dedication here, this time, so much more on the same page here for EchoFox as they all turn to get the extra kill, then return to the Baron. And here's that mid-wave push that we were prepping.
Side lanes aren't going to be there too much. If they win a fight, everything's going to be down mid here for EchoFox. And this is the kind of play they need to see. 5-9 coming into this week 8. Climbing in the standings. You only have TSM coming up after this. It only gets harder. These guys really have to put the work in here, and Counter Logic Gaming would be a great start.
You can definitely feel the pressure and the tension that these players are under as we close in on playoffs, and they're trying to move up a spot. Incredibly important here for both teams. EchoFox still trying to get into that cutoff for playoffs. This will be a very good step on the way. Game number 1 here. Looking good, and here it comes.
Looper says, I'll take the first cupcake. It looks to just clear these out. Look, he's tanking everything right now, just giving the team what we see about 30% on the turret. And if they can keep doing that, they won't. They go topside.
The Caitlyn wall of traps.
You get a little bit easier of an aggression rather on this turret. You might be able to route behind, as we'll see what Looper takes as a position.
It's the hard part, as you know, the more pick-oriented team, when the enemy is pinned up under their inhibitor turrets or under their turrets like this, and they have a decent siege defense here with Caitlyn, it is a bit scary to force. They should be able to whittle down this turret. You know, these ones are a little less. Ah, here we go though.
Looper, gravity field locked up. He is getting turret tanked right now, and it heats up, so nobody else wants to take those shots. They all stay out of range after 3 or 4. And Darshan tried to go in immediately. Fox has so much quick focus on one person to blow up, and they've been using it perfectly here.
Why are they waiting on this turret's about to go down here? I don't know. Akaadian has his ultimate. He's actually going mid. Is he going to try and cut someone off or rush the turret here? There's another line of minions. Echo Fox are actually sending Looper all the way back. His standing at is ready, so they're pushing all 3 lanes to slowly get more work done on the turrets.
That was actually nice by Fox, able to set themselves up. Usually we see a fight and a team kind of lolling about for 5 minutes before the waves get into position. They said, we're stalling out in mid, let's go top. A little more craziness onto the side of CLG, and they used Darshan and another turret.
Whew. All right, Echo Fox still do hold their lead. CLG's composition is one of those ones where you do have to warn against, getting lazy or throwing away a couple mistakes, as the power of, the late game team fighting from there is there. Echo Fox, though, the ones in the driver's seat here. See if they can actually walk that line, tread carefully so they don't give any gold over here. This Caitlyn is really starting to get up there as far as the crit multipliers, though.
Definitely have to pay attention to how much Stixxay keeps himself alive here as we get towards the late game. Still staying together. Items abound. Looks like nobody's just full items just yet. And summoners are up for the next fight the way I like it. We're really testing each other's mechanics here as they get into it. Fox sticking together. Looks like Froggen's going to do mid lane push by himself to make sure the wave is crashing into the turret when they engage bot.
Yeah, and as they're getting closer to a confrontation, he does head over. The Banshee's Veil has been picked up in defense for him. I do like, usually you're like, oh, it's so defensive for, a backline member of Viktor here, but the Vladimir has been a very big problem. Here goes the arrow on the front line.
Darshan's the first aggression, actually seeing if they can get some ults out for themselves. Ghost and Righteous Glory forward. Still no ults coming in CLG. Depth charge actually hits off of Darshan in a wild growth, so now they are backing off. All ults held except for Keats on the side of Fox.
Yeah, you can tell Echo Fox were treading very close to handing over some deaths, and they do not want to give any more gold over to the CLG side as far as fueling that war chest of the 5-on-5 massive power here.
Whew. So how much can Fox play with kind of just engaging under the turret? Obviously, it's a 5v5 for CLG, and they have a great amount of wave clear. So does Fox kind of get stuck once they reach the inhibitors?
I mean, you can see how important every spell of crowd control is. Froggen's gravity field as well as Keith's arrow are 2 very important factors. And while you can use them on the front line if somebody like Darshan is super extended or away a little bit from the rest of the team to get like a health lead, basically tank health lead on the front line and get a lot of DPS on them, that's an option. If the rest of the team is there at the same time, you have to be super careful, and that is definitely one of the least high priority of targets there. So really, everybody at this point, once you get to the super late game team fighting, keeping track of the shorter cooldowns, the basic cooldowns of gravity field and stuff like that aren't ultimates also becomes very important for team fighting and avoiding those threats.
Oh boy.
Here we go though, the split push for Looper. They're trying to buy some time here on the turret. CLG rushing on the
teleport
dragon.
Away. Looper's coming to the fight. They're going to take this one, and hopefully Looper can taunt through them, actually denying them entry to their base, but he says, we'll join the fight. Now horizontally 5v5 up and down the river.
Smite fight into a 5-on-5 here, maybe. The health is 5,000. They go for the fight.
Little tank-on-tank action to start things off, but we break up the fight. We say, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not what we want. Dragon first, 4,400 HP, smites around 1,000. In
these situations, I love it when one team just forces the fight, and then the other team kind of split between going on the dragon or the fight, but it looks like they're content to get it down.
Did Smite go over and over to Xmithie, Gate, and Keith almost getting obliterated immediately. Looper tries to do the in-play stand united, Akaadian being pushed out, and CLG taunt Fox into a fight they have been wanting for the past 15 minutes in the game. They have the split push top.
And it is a massacre. Not only are they able to get that dragon for the huge buff, will Akaadian find his way out?
Oh!
Hey, sweet moves, I guess. He's
man.
He's still going. Oh, he's back in. Oh, now he's out again. Now he's in again.
kill! Spicy! Akaadian back and forth playing ping pong with Rengar, and he actually confuses the crap out of Chronologic Gaming.
I always wanted to try a little bit of play-by-play. That was fun, Rip. Thank you. He's still going, buddy.
Keep going, Gubby.
Oh, no, he's dead. Unlucky.
42 minutes in here. Chronologic Gaming not really backs against the wall, just trying to find a way in the whole time. It comes from the Elder Drake 40 minutes in, and they're going to be right on to the Nexus. One more kill coming up onto Akaadian to make it 16-15. And Chronologic Gaming take game 1.
Whew. That was a game with some very complicated decision trees from both teams.
I like that. That's complicated decision trees. All jumbled up in one big kitten caboodle. The victory going to Chronologic Gaming here, but Echo Fox showing a much more promising early game without having to get Akaadian going, showing that a little versatility in where those kills could be fed to start getting themselves going, and they held it for quite a bit, but now the late game seems to be a bit of a crutch in finding that objective that will give them the rest of the base.
Yeah, whew. And once you, and we did see kind of the reason where a lot of teams, when they're making the decisions for what types of strategies to try and execute, do err on the ones that are more 5v5 centric, because those ones are a little bit more straightforward to go for. And at the very crucial moment when they're on the Elder Dragon, CLG being able to force or get Luper's teleport out to, once he's there, there's no more threat of the split push. There's no more, the advantages for Echo Fox there, as then it just comes down to that straight up fight around the dragon. They burst down the dragon for the extra, bonus true damage first.
Right.
And then you could see they were just able to, steamroll ahead.
It's so interesting because you could just stand united to that fight when the problem does come up, and then teleport if you win back, Kobe.
Looper bloopers?
Looper bloopers. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to see what they make of that Chronologic Gaming win.
Thank you very much, Riv. CLG kind of narrowly coming away with the victory there in that game. We see what happens in those late game stages where a single fight can really determine the outcome of the game. And that's what we want to take a look at right off the bat. Well, actually, in a moment, they're still pulling it for us, so we'll get to that in a moment. But overall, CLG, they're going to be happy to come away with the victory. But compare this to how they played against C9 just last week, and things seem to have, kind of taken a step back.
Yeah, there was definitely some ups and some downs, I'd say, as always seems to be the case with CLG. And it's kind of a lot of what people talk about. They play to their opponent's level, it feels like.
Right.
And one thing to keep in mind, although there is a big gold lead at this stage in the game for Echo Fox, the gold lead kind of lies to you because CLG is playing such a powerful 5v5 comp. And I think what they did here was very, very good. They wait out Akaadian's actual ult from the Rengar, so he can't jump in to actually go for the smite. Then Darshan goes in as his team wants to burst it, so he's zoning Akaadian out. And once they had secured the Elder Dragon, there was essentially no chance for Echo Fox to really win that fight because you have a 5v5 team composition, double Infernal, the true damage burn. I think it was really well played in that specific fight from CLG. Almost couldn't be
By
better.
far and away the best play that they made in that game.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is for the majority of the game on both sides of the rift, messy, messy, messy. We've got players who just don't look in sync with each other. They're making individual mechanical, mistakes and failures left and right. And that's what I want to dive into here because, again, both of these teams here are on the cusp of playoffs. With CLG sitting just inside, Echo Fox trying to make their run for it here. They really have to show us more cleanliness, more consistency here coming into the last 2 weeks of the season. And that's not what we got in this game.
No, and especially for Echo Fox, who actually... they are outside of the playoff picture right now. They had such a great start to the season, and they have not been on point. Akaadian, we have some footage of him here, and he did not look great at the start of the game. I think both the first blood he gives up is pretty questionable, as well as some of the earlier skirmishes later. I mean, he has his empowered W. Yes, he obviously is underestimating the damage, but then this fight here, I think also, while it did end up being a trade, so Froggen comes down. Xmithie is essentially already screwed. You can easily hop to Huhi and kill him off pretty quickly there.
Yes.
Then put Looper in a position to clean up the other kill if he's not already dead, so you easily make that at least a 2-for-1.
Right.
But these are the kind of mistakes that we never really saw Akaadian making in the earlier stages of the year. It always felt like the early game was his kingdom, and when it's not, it's...
Yeah, I mean, in that replay there, it's possible you even live and you make it a 2-for-0 because you're leaping out of melee range, right? So you're saving yourself some damage there. So again, some mechanical mistakes out of Akaadian, who in those first 3 weeks of the split, when Echo Fox was finding most of their success, was the star of the team, right? He was the one picking up player of the games along with Froggen and really accelerating the pace of the game. Now let's jump to the other side and let's look at CLG. All of these, all the members of CLG, probably at some point in their career have been the target of criticism or, being the person who's the weight for the team, except for maybe Aphromoo. But today, that's who we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit about Aphromoo. I mean, I love the guy. He's a fantastic shot caller. He is a great player, but he has had, quite a few mistakes, actually, in this series. Just as far as positioning, early in the game, they gave up a straight-up 2v2 kill where they then lost their turret. They have fights around Baron where, there's no wild growth coming out from Aphromoo. This fight as well,
Darshan
no wild growth
down.
onto Aphromoo, onto Darshan there to save him. So there was a lot of kind of individual mistakes and things that you don't expect to see from someone like Aphromoo. I mean, even if you're just breaking down the 2v2 fight in the bot lane where they get killed and then end up giving up their turret, I mean, they're going up against Keith and Gate. People consider them one of the worst LCS bot lanes, right? You're supposed to be the best bot lane. Stixxay said they're the best bot lane in the league. If you're the best bot lane in the league, you should be smashing these guys in lane every single time, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, you're opting into a fight with a level 5 Aphromoo into a level 6 Zyra. They played it very poorly.
Right, and then you arrive at the question of whether or not Aphromoo, same things we were talking about with the last series, losing focus. What is kind of the impetus for all these individual mistakes that have been absent from his career for the large majority of it, and just now are kind of taking into effect? And then at what point or how much of that carries over into his shot calling?
Yeah, and I think that's a fair question to ask because shot calling is obviously a burden that is largely placed on him.
Yep.
When you listen to things like Mic Check and you get to hear a lot of the great plays, strategical plays, are called out by Aphromoo. Even when it's someone else doing them, he's like, hey, Stixxay, you can take that inhibitor. Hey, Darshan, you can do this. Hey, stop that base. We're going to win, right? Like, these are the kind of calls he's always able to make. And when you're putting more of your thoughts on those, you can sometimes have more individual errors. But we need to see him at that tip-top level because their bot lane has always been such a strength. And this season, while they still are performing very well overall, and Stixxay did become very, very strong, etc., you need to have them clean it up if they're supposed to be going into playoffs and taking on TSM and C9 and P1 and some of these teams that look so good.
Exactly that. Same thing can be said for Echo Fox. We look at that gold graph there at the end, up 8,500 gold, down to about even at the conclusion of the game. I mean, this just once again points towards Echo Fox's inability to close out matches. We have plenty of statistics around the early leads that they're able to communicate, but the fact that they can't craft a close is got to be worrisome for them. Player of the game this time around going to Huhi on that Vladimir. Definitely put a lot of DPS out there a little bit. Went for the flash ignite just like Piglet did, but we saw it work out a little bit better for Huhi this time around.
Yeah, and I mean, he's playing Storm Raiders. He went a much more defensive build than Piglet. He just straight up played it better in lane. And you see the burst potential, even without something like a Luden's Echo. I mean, he had the Proto Belt. There was one kill he had early in the game on Keith where he essentially 100 to 0s him with one round of
single
spells.
rotation.
I mean, flash on him, Proto Belt, Ignite, Alt, QE. Like, you can have huge amounts of burst even while building somewhat tanky, somewhat more defensive.
All right, game one in the books between these two squads. When we return from a quick break, we have game 2 of CLG versus Echo Fox. Don't touch that browser. You're watching the North American LCS.
Anytime Trevor comes to your lane, just give him your CS.
Yeah. Give him all that CS.
I'm down, dude.
Enable him to carry the game.
I don't know
You
about
guys
that.
don't need it.
You deserve this, Trevor.
Thanks, dude.
It's his birthday, guys. Give it to him.
Akaadian will take a decent amount of damage as Looper's pushed into his turret, but I think he was going to back and he's dead!
Go, go, go. Let me go, go, go. I think clear. Yep. I can flash. Go forward only. No flash, no flash. Maybe Caitlyn the edge, okay, sister. No, he's not. Okay. I'm flanking. 5 die. Push me. Nice.
Go.
I'm going in. Viktor. Nice.
Uh-oh. Will Akaadian find his way out? Oh! Hey, sweet moves, I guess. He's out,
man.
He's still going. Oh, he's back in. Oh, now he's out again. Now he's in again. He got a kill.
Counter Logic Gaming take game 1.